Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. We have a new Teacher Says as our episode today. In this series, we ask many veteran GrapeSEED teachers a couple of questions about practical teaching tips or just good ideas for running a GrapeSEED program smoothly. Keep in mind that these are the opinions of the teachers themselves. They are sharing what they have learned has worked for them through years of self-reflection. Something that works for one teacher may not work for another. These tips are meant to give you ideas on what to do or to inspire your own journey of self-reflection. In this episode, you will hear from Aaron, Will, Bruno, and Matthew. Let's get started. Number 1. How do you store the GrapeSEED materials at your school?
Okay, we keep the materials in the boxes they come in. We have lots of materials and lots of boxes. So I find keeping the materials in the boxes helps preserve the materials over many years of use and storage. We have a closet that's just dedicated to storing all of our GrapeSEED materials. And inside the closet, we also have one of those big steel racks. I'll try to explain the system as best as possible. It's much easier with pictures, but I'll do my best. On this steel rack, there's dedicated spots we keep the active unit boxes. Anytime we're teaching 8 different units, so we've got 8 different spots for each of the different classes. So say for the 4-year-old classes, they start in Unit 1. We'll keep the Unit 1 boxes in this dedicated spot it's dedicated for the 4-year-old classes. And then when they move to the Unit 2, we'll now switch out the Unit 2 box to where the Unit 1 box was. And then we'll just move the Unit 1 box to a storage place somewhere else with the same closet and the steel rack. And that way, whatever current unit boxes we are using, they're always in the same place. It's always, this class is always right here. This class is always right here. So that's with storing the materials. Going a little deeper into that, we also have a system of how we store the materials inside the box. That we've got many different teachers using the same boxes and things like that. So if all of the materials are just mixed up, it can be a bit more time consuming for a teacher looking for a specific material. And having the materials stored with a system, I think it helps the teacher treat the materials with more respect and with more care. And again, we're using these materials year after year, so we don't want them to become really torn apart after using it through one school year. We want them to remain in really good condition over the years. So it's important for teachers to treat the materials with care. So with the system in the boxes, we keep the poems on the bottom. They're on the very bottom. For some of the units, maybe there's the shared reading, the Let's Start Reading cards. So those go on top of the poems. After that, we'll have the stories of the units. After the stories, I'll put in the big books. They act as a nice divider. And then after the big books, we'll have the songs and chants. And then if there's any small cards like phonogram cards or the vocab picture cards, those will be on top.
We have a big shelf which we use to put all the units that we're using at the moment. We actually have 6 classes going on at any given time. So we just put them, so on one side goes the materials, flashcards, and lesson plans. And on the other side, we put writers and readers and stuff like that. So it's really easy to take them out and put them back in at the end of the day. And then we have another shelf, a bookshelf, which we use for storing boxes with the other materials that we're not using at the time.
So pretty simple. We have a master cabinet in another room where we keep all the materials because we have materials from 1 all the way through 40. We put them in their original boxes with the numbers on each one. They're stored in numerical order, so they're easy to take out. The teachers' materials, we don't just put the stories, songs, and all that. We also put the writers, the REP, the DVD, the CD, everything. It all comes in one package. Now, that's in that master cabinet, but in my classroom, I just have the units that I'm using at that particular time, and I have a few cupboards, and I store each material on a different shelf. The readers and writers I store on separate shelves that are open, and that way they are easy to access for the students because I don't get it for them. They got to do it themselves. And so, yeah, that's basically how we store our materials. Oh, CDs. I keep them near the CD player if you're using CDs these days. And the DVDs, I keep them near the DVD player. It's basically it. It writes itself.
So at our school, the program has grown massively over the years. And because we're up to Unit 40 with tons of classes, we actually have 184 sets of materials. So for that purpose, we've actually created a materials library. And this includes things like a sign-out sheet, so that when teachers get the units out from the materials library, we know who has them and where they will have them. All the sets are lettered to keep track of them as best as possible. And when the teachers take them to the rooms, they'll store them in a box. But because of the amount that we have, storing them in the boxes in the materials library became impossible. All large cards are ordered by type. So we have big books, songs, stories, etc. in that order. And we have card dividers to make sure that they don't get mixed up.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.